And C-140 Aurora from 14-Wing Greenwood, along with a Coast Guard vessel, are among those involved in a search for a tourist sub that has not made contact since diving to the Titanic wreckage site over the weekend. 5 people are reported to be on board. Joining us now is Beth Penny, a reporter at NTV in St. John's, who has been covering the story since it broke yesterday morning. Good morning, Beth. What's the latest information you have this morning?
Good morning, Amanda. Well, I wish I had, more positive news to report this morning, but we do know that the search, the international search now, is still ongoing. Both the Canadian Coast Guard and the U.S. Coast Guard are involved, sending several vessels as well as aircrafts, to the site. The U.S. Coast Guard gave an update yesterday afternoon and did confirm, like you mentioned, that there are 5 people on board this submersible, which is about 7,000 kilometers off the coast of Newfoundland, about 3 kilometers deep under the Atlantic Ocean. So that's the update this morning, that the search is ongoing. The U.S. Coast Guard says, of course, what makes this search extremely challenging is that they are searching under the water as well as on the surface of the water. They remain hopeful because they do say that they're using a lot of sonar technology. That's the latest as well. A lot of sonar technology, including sonar buoys that are being placed in the water. And of course, that's to catch any noise that might be coming from the vessel itself. They said people on board might also be trying to make some noise just to be heard through that sonar technology.
Continues to be a developing story, as you mentioned. We know this tour costs about $250,000. What do you know about the identity of the 5 people on board?
So officials aren't giving the names of those on board right now, but we have confirmed that, a British billionaire, Hamish Harding, is on board. That was confirmed through social media posts as well as a post from his stepson online. It's being widely reported that Stockton Rush, who's the CEO of OceanGate, is also on board. That hasn't been confirmed. We have had multiple, questions into OceanGate if that is true or not, but it has been widely reported, as well as a father and son from Pakistan who are also reportedly on board. That has been confirmed through social media posts from family, as well as Paul Henry Nargeolet. He's a former commander who served in the French Navy for 25 years. He was confirmed actually through a Facebook post that Hamish Harding had posted online before taking off on the expedition. However, the U.S. Coast Guard says that they aren't providing these names so far, but many family members have been taking to social media to express, their thoughts and prayers.
These are the latest known images of the sub when it was submerging in the ocean. And right now, a multinational task force of researchers and rescuers are racing against time before the supply of oxygen on that sub runs out. KTVU's Tom Bakar has been monitoring the mission. He joins us now in the newsroom with the latest details. Tom.
Well, it's fair to say that it is a massive rescue mission, but it looks more and more like it's going to be Mission Impossible. 900 miles east of Cape Cod and 12,500 feet down lie the remains of the Titanic, now a high-end tourist attraction where the tourist submersible with 5 on board is now missing. The super-strong titanium and filament-wound carbon fiber submersible was designed and rated to dive to just over 13,000 feet.
It surprises me that they lost communication so early in the dive. It takes about 2 hours to reach the wreck, so whatever happened either on the way down or as soon as they got there.
The environment is unforgiving. Just 650 feet down, the sea becomes a lightless, pitch-black abyss. Contact was lost at about 8,700 feet. At that depth, the water temperature is in the lower 30 degrees Fahrenheit, like sitting in a refrigerator since the submersible has no heating. The massive, relentless water pressure is at almost 2 tons per square inch that builds to 3 tons at the Titanic's resting place. Jim Antrim is a naval architect, a designer of ships and boats, who says, think of yourself holding a steel rod in your hand.
1.5 times the height of this Salesforce tower. That's the pressure of water down at the depth of the Titanic.
Any defects, cracks, or leak could cause it to implode in a nanosecond. Though it was designed to automatically surface if need be, it could not do that, especially if the extreme pressure collapsed its hull or it got trapped.
Its first problem is probably that it's somewhere attached to a fishing net, some debris. It may have simply gotten caught.
Retrieval is near impossible. Navy rescue submissions are limited to 2,000 feet depth, no deeper. Specialized subs can dive to a maximum of about 4,200 feet. Another ultra-deep remote vehicle could maybe latch on, but only if you can find the missing one.
This is a complex search effort which requires multiple agencies with subject matter expertise and specialized equipment. Right now, all of our efforts are focused on finding the sub. What I will tell you is we have a group of our nation's best experts in the Unified Command, and if we get to that point, those experts will be looking at what the next course of action is.
But there is no more than 2 days left to find and retrieve it if there's any chance of life of all. Back to you.
Tom, did they say, is there any type of tracking device on this submersible, and what type of equipment is being used to go down and try to find it?
At that kind of depth, it's almost impossible to track, and the problem is that there are machines in the world that can do this. The question is, can you get them there in time? And then, even if you have the most capable machines, and those would likely be these remote operating vehicles, these underneath things that are not human occupied, you'd have to go down and find it first, and then they would have to find a way to attach that submarine, which is sitting there, if it's available to be lifted up. But finding it alone in a debris field as big as the Titanic's is going to be a very, very difficult thing, because remember, even with lights, it is very, very dark out there.
Yeah, just a sad situation like finding a needle in a haystack. All right, Tom, thank you.
A glimmer of hope today in the search for the lost Titan mini-sub.
Rescuers say they heard banging sounds in 30-minute intervals.
Sonar buoys dropped into the ocean by Coast Guard aircraft picked up the sound of banging. Could it be the trapped crew hammering on the side of the sub? Rescue crews are now scrambling to locate the source of the banging, with oxygen in the sub expected to run out Thursday morning.
We need to have hope, right? But I can't tell you what the noises are. But what I can tell you is, and I think this is the most important point, we're searching where the noises are.
Colonel Terry Virts's friend Hamish Harding, a veteran explorer, is one of the 5 men on board the Titan.
He would know the only way to communicate with the outside world is through banging on the wall, and that sound travels very well through the ocean.
The owners of the Titan are coming under fire today for refusing to have the sub tested by an independent regulatory body. Bart Kemper is one of 30 engineers who wrote to OceanGate, the company behind the Titan, urging them to have the sub tested.
Are you saying there was no regulation of the Titan?
To my knowledge, that is the case.
I got these from Camper World.
CBS correspondent David Pogue was stunned when he saw some of the equipment on board earlier this year.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! Yup, unbelievable but true. The Titan submarine is controlled by a Logitech game controller that you can find at any electronics store. We found this one today for $43. This toggle makes the sub go up and down. This one from left to right. And could the window on the sub be compromised? A former employee sued OceanGate, claiming the window wasn't rated to go below 4,000 feet. The Titanic is sitting on the ocean floor at 12,000 feet, 3 times deeper. Some previous passengers we spoke with say the sub was plagued with technical issues.
Every trip I've taken with them, the first thing you hear is, "We've lost communication." I know that's the key phrase in this story, is they've lost communication.
OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, who is on board the stricken submersible, seemed unfazed by the safety concerns.
At some point, safety just is pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything. At some point, you're going to take some risk.
Alan Newman made the journey last year. He says he was willing to risk it all for a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's not a Disney ride, right? These are pushing the limits, and they don't go always as planned.